Hello VC, this is Bradley. Well, first of all, I put on this t-shirt this morning. This is in honor of my late father. He served on the USS Midway during the Korean War. I bought this out in San Diego, where the Midway is. It's not dry docked, it's still in the harbor, but it's they made it into a museum. It's an aircraft carrier. So if you're ever in San Diego, you got to check this out. It's right downtown. It's a museum. Very interesting. They got planes and everything, you know. Super cool. So anyhow, last week on Tuesday, I went down to Louisville, which is like a 5-hour drive for me. I took my recent stereo system. I sold it to my cousin Reggie, who lives in Louisville. He had just bought a Orbit U-turn turntable, and he received that on Monday. So he just retired. He's getting back into vinyl. You know, he was always into music when he was younger. You know, got married, divorced, lost the records. You know, typical story. So he's starting out from zero, but he's getting into it big time. I talked him into it. He's enjoying it. So anyhow, on Tuesday we hooked the system up. Everything sounded great. I took a few albums down. On Wednesday, we went to 4 record stores in Louisville. I'll name them off briefly. Better Days, first. Second was Surface Noise. Third was Matt Anthony's. And the fourth was, I think it's the Guesthouse, I believe, which I didn't buy any albums there. But anyhow, and each record store was different. The first we went to was Better Days. They have a very large selection, a lot of used and new. I've always kind of liked Leo Kottke, although I've never had his albums. So I wanted to pick one up. And they had one down there. 1979 release, I believe. And this is on Chrysalis Records. I was expecting a little more instrumental music, which he has some on here. And to be honest, I've only played the first side. Maybe the second side has more. So, but it's good. The second album, I think I picked this up in Better Days. I'm into jazz big time. I love Blue Note. This one was on Verve. Cannonball Adderley and Ray Brown, called Two for the Blues. Now I'm not a huge jazz big band fan. I would rather have a quartet or 6 players or 7 players maybe. I like 3 horns, trombone in there, but this is a big band. It's got for example, of course, Cannonball plays sax, Ray Brown bass and cello. Trumpets, it's got 4 trumpets, Nat Adderley, Clark Terry. It's got 4 trombones, 5 reeds on here. Yusef Lateef is one of them. Bass, either Ray Brown or Sam Jones. Piano, Hank Jones or Tommy Flanagan. It's recorded in 1963. As I said, I'm not a big fan of big band because I didn't realize it was a big band album. But it's good. It's good. I will play it. This was also Better Days, I'm sure. Oh, I know it was. 1960s sunshine pop rock. Always liked that, you know. Cowsills, Strawberry Alarm Clock, whatever. Mamas and Papas. But I just had to get Spanky and Our Gang, Greatest Hits. This was probably 1969. It's on Mercury Records. They had 3 copies, and I looked at this, and it looked in the record store. It looked like it was in pretty decent shape. I think all of them were the same price. Oh, I love that back cover. Choir robes. They look like a cult. Anyhow, this record it's not really too good a shape. It's got a lot of pops and cracks, but it's got Sunday Will Never Be the Same, Lazy Day, Sunday Morning, and I'd Like to Get to Know You. Actually, Sunday Morning on this one is the extended version. The original was probably, I don't know, probably no longer than 3 minutes. Well, this is 6 minutes long, and it's kind of freaky. They got, they're kind of talking among themselves in the studio and all that. It's pretty wild. So the original single, they edited it, but you know, I couldn't pass up Spanky and Our Gang. The next was the second music store, a smaller one, very small. It was in a room. I think it was called Surface Noise. They did not have a huge selection, but, but what they had was very, very high quality, and they didn't have filler in there. If any filler they had, they were good albums that you never see or have a hard time finding. So I had to pick up The Joker, The Smoker, and Midnight Toker by Steve Miller. I never had this album. My roommate in college had it, so why buy it? And I never picked it up after that. But good quality, sounds good. A little Steve Miller trivia here. Who was Steve Miller's godfather? I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Actually, it was Les Paul. Les Paul and Mary Ford were friends of Steve Miller's parents in, I think they lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I believe. I don't think it was Minnesota. So, anyhow, that's a little trivia there. Next album, I believe this, I don't know, it might have been Surface Noise. I'm not sure. Anyhow, I don't have, I'm into jazz big time. I love Blue Note. I know Kenny Dorham, he did record on Blue Note. Now this is not on Blue Note. This is on United Artists. 19... looks like 72, apparently. If I can read my Roman numerals correct. Anyhow. Kenny Dorham. Matador. This has Jackie McLean on here. Bobby Timmons. Teddy Smith. I don't know. J.C. Moses. Whatever. This was actually a little pricey, you know, but the condition of the record is like probably very good plus. Sounds fantastic. I'm thinking I might get into some more Kenny Dorham. The actual album, I don't know if it was a cutout. Looks like a cutout. But, and then, you know, that's not that great a shape, but excellent. I love the sound on that album. And the last one, I picked this up in Matt Anthony's record store, which the size of that store is whatever, somewhere in between Better Days and Surface Noise. Decent size, not overly large, but they had a lot of neat stuff in there. Now I've been looking, I wanted to get Allman Brothers at the Fillmore East and or Quadrophenia by The Who. Now both of those, both the reissues they're not cheap, especially Quadrophenia. It seems like any new reissues are like, I don't know, cheapest I could actually find was like 45 bucks or something. It was a little costly. And same with the Fillmore East, not near as bad. But anyhow, that's what I chose. Fillmore East, they had Quadrophenia in there, and Quadrophenia was a little cheaper than this one, but it was missing that nice booklet they had. And so I decided to go with the slightly more expensive Allman Brothers. This is used. So I'll have to try to track down a Quadrophenia. I would be happy with a decent used copy that had the booklet. So, and then we did go to a fourth record store. I think it was called Guesthouse Records, which it was very good. I didn't buy anything there. They had a lot of new stuff. Now they catered a little more towards the younger record buyer, although they had pretty good variety, you know. But they did have a lot of new stuff. But the new stuff they had was very, very nicely priced, you know. So I would not count that store out at all. It just so happens I didn't buy any there. And when I was down in Louisville, they were having extreme flooding. The Ohio River was the highest in 20 years. So, you know, I hope that all works out. But it's, you know, the next few days it's only going to get worse. So, hoping for the best for Louisvillians. Louisvillians? Whatever. So anyhow, this is Bradley signing off. If you care to subscribe or comment, please do. So until the next time, so long.